I am so happy that I can share with you one more time of how I got in. God has designated that special time for me to be a part of His fellowship. I loved what happened to me because I could feel it in the very thing that I do from day to day. The song that I remembered that took me and helped me and nurtured me into the state that I am right now. And that song is I'd Rather Have Jesus. I remember that song in my early Christian years, living with my new family now, because by then I would have left my real family and would have lived with my guidance counselor and her family. And I remember we used to visit some small churches and we used to sing and we used to get into the hymnal. But this one song helped to ground me. And that song was, I'd rather have Jesus than silver and gold. And I remember that song vividly. And one of the other things that kept me in, I got in, and now one of the things that kept me in was getting involved in church service. So for example, Wednesday night meetings. For example, we used to have Operation Fireside. That is where we would go out and help persons to help with them Bible study, give them Bible study and help them. So Operation Fireside was one of those features in the church that got me going as a young Christian. And the other feature that I loved very much was the Pathfinding features. Those cemented me. Those features had me locked into a church service, had me locked into ministry. And so I was so glad for those youthful years as I grew up in the church and being around strong Christian family was one that helped me to grow and nurture me. It wasn't easy because by then I would have grown up and now trying to take my rightful place in society. And so how I got in was a good pathway for me now to get my feet on solid ground, to get my feet wet in my testing, in my youthful years of testing. But let me move on to share with you a very important point that really helps me. The level of conversion that we need to stay in the fold, in the discipleship pathway, is going to be very crucial to you getting in and staying into the church. Conversion has to be a part of your life if you're going to be called a Christian. So it's good to get into the fold of God, the fellowship of God. But conversion now has to take over and now guide your pathway as you forge ahead into your Christian journey. How I got into the church was a miracle, and it was a supernatural blessing, because my family, my new family now, you will see and hear a little bit more about who they are. But my new family was so grounded into the church that I learned my Christian principles from them. And I had two families, the B family and the W family. Those two families now they took me under their wings, and they helped me now to polish me now and to guide me. And I was able to learn from them true Christian principle. We're talking about Bible study. We're talking about morning worship and evening worship. As kids and as young people, we had to do morning and evening worship. We were placed in the Pathfinder Club. We were placed on the youth choir. We were placed in the children's ministries programs. We got involved in children's Sabbath school that helped us to learn public speaking. So getting into the church is a very, 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 very big thing because it helps to nurture us. And let me tell you something. Nurturing kids and putting kids in the pathway of leadership and ministry is very vital to them staying into the church, into the fold of God. I got in because I was young. I didn't know anything or know what I wanted. But now I have the foundation that I need to move on with. I learned songs like Rock of Ages cleft for me. I learned song like I Must Tell Jesus. I was able to learn to pray because I didn't know how to pray before I got into the church. And I learned to pray. I was taught to pray because I learned from my family, my new family now that I'm living with and I became a part of. I learned to pray. I learned to sing. I learned new songs. I learned new way. I learned to worship God. I learned to put God first. I learned to put God at the center. And I was able also, I learned how to return my faithful tithe and offering. Because this new family now had the foundation that I needed as a new Christian to get into the fold of God. So it was so important for me that God has placed this family into my life. And today I just want to give shout out to the family who saw me, who took me on, my guidance counselor, as I mentioned in my first episode. They took me on and she was able to lead me now from being in her fold. I was being able to get onto the principle now where she took me on to. So I was fully covered. In terms of a young person that had covering and protection in the faith, I was fully covered by mature Christian principles and mature persons who helped me. I want to give my shout out to those two families that has nurtured me. I must say a big thank you for giving me this mega future, this mega deal in my life. Took me from a street girl living a wandering life to a person now with sense of purpose, a sense of well-being, and a sense of achievement in my life. I was able to go to evening class and evening school and learn because I know garner the principles that they had, their solid educational foundation that they had. I was able now to grasp that concept because I was living with them, and they are persons and people with ambition, people with career. And so I grew into that phase of life now where I had to seek a career for myself. And as a young person, it wasn't easy. It was not easy, but I loved it. I loved it. I remember the day I got baptized in 1986. I got baptized on May 2. And 4 of us got baptized at the time, and it was a big thing. I can remember the little smirk on my face when I came up out of the water with my white tie head and my blue gown. And that was the start of something big for me. That was the start of a life that I loved. That was the start of a life that I am now happy to be living over 50 odd years. Yes, I am so happy for that foundation that I got, that future that was placed in my path. And that future is with God. You gave me Jesus. My new family, you gave me Jesus. You gave me that solid foundation. You gave me the hope of above all hopes. You gave me a future that I didn't know of. You gave me something that I cannot even give back to you, but I can give to my child. I've learned so much. Even now, I am reaping the reward of being friends for life with this family. Mommy B, Auntie M, and Mother W. Love to the max. You gave me what I did not know existed. Your family, your kids, your husbands, your children. I became a part of that family that I was locked in. And you gave me something more than money can buy today. And I want to thank you all for what you let me in. You helped me to get in, and now when I came in, you showed me. You nurtured me, you teach me, you taught me how to live a Christian life. You taught me what it means to put God first. You taught me what it means to live for Jesus, because that's what matters most. You taught me what life is, the life that I could live in Christ that never ends. You gave me Jesus. You gave me Jesus. And today, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me to get into the fold of God, into the faith of Jesus Christ, for helping me to know that there is more to life than just living. You helped me to see that Jesus Christ matters most than anything else that I could ever want. I was so aimless. I had nothing. I was just living as a young person. But you took me in. You shared with me. You gave me everything that I needed to set me on the right path. And for that, I want to thank you all, you and your family, for helping me to get in. So how I got in, it's a miracle. But how I am staying in, it's just a joy. And I'm going to share more about you, about my experience as a young Christian, as a fighting Christian, and as a person that wants to live for Jesus. So if you're out there and you call yourself a Christian, but you're not living the Christian life that matters most, take a look into yourself, because there is more to life than just acquiring wealth and riches. Jesus has gone to prepare a place for you, and if he goes and prepare that place for you, he'll come back again. Then take care.